The story picks up right where the previous film left off. Tessa and Hardin have separated. Tessa is completely devastated, but this time she's trying to pull herself together. She focuses on her career and starts an internship at a publishing company. There, her boss gives her a new assignment, and she gradually becomes immersed in her work. It's there that she meets Trevor, whose nature is completely opposite to Hardin's, respectful and short-sighted. Initially, they interact professionally, but gradually a friendship develops. Meanwhile, Hardin is left alone. He stays at home, drinks alcohol, and clearly feels unwell without Tessa. He repeatedly tries to call her, but Tessa refuses to talk to him. One day, they suddenly come face to face. Hardin tries to convince her that his feelings are real, but Tessa doesn't believe him. She clearly tells him that after what happened, she can't accept him back. But Hardin doesn't give up. He comes to her again and again, trying to convince her, and gradually begins to grow closer to her again. Now Tessa becomes confused again. On one hand, she has a stable life, a job, new people, and Trevor. And on the other, Hardin, who remains just as intense. Their interactions begin to increase again. Sometimes arguments, sometimes emotional conversations, and then gradually the distance between them begins to decrease. At one point, they become close again. But this time, the situation is more complicated than before because the trust has been broken. Meanwhile, problems in Tessa's life begin to increase. Her father, who had previously abandoned her, suddenly returns and asks for help. But Tessa is unsure whether she should trust him or not. On the other hand, Hardin is also struggling with his past. His family issues and anger problems haven't subsided. The two rekindle their relationship, but this time everything is fragile. Fights break out over trivial matters, and it becomes clear that the relationship is still unsustainable. The story now shifts completely to a messy, unstable face. Tessa and Hardin reunite, but this time everything is more frantic than before. Trust has already been broken, leading to major fights over trivial matters. Initially, they try to keep things normal. They spend time together and try to behave normally. But Hardin's temper quickly surfaces. He gets angry over small things and often doesn't speak to Tessa properly. Tessa, too, isn't the same as before. She doesn't accept everything blindly. Whenever Hardin misbehaves, she responds directly. This creates more friction between them. Meanwhile, Trevor's presence becomes stronger again. He works with Tessa and helps her. Gradually, he grows closer to her. Tessa feels comfortable with him because he is stable and understanding. Now the jealousy begins. Hardin doesn't like Trevor at all. He repeatedly asks Tessa what's going on between them. Tessa tries to convince him that they're just friends, but Hardin doesn't believe him. The fights escalate. On one hand, Hardin's anger. On the other, Tessa's frustration. The situation between the two is repeatedly explored. Meanwhile, the issue of Tessa's father also becomes more pressing. He starts living in the house and gradually reveals that he's still unreliable. He starts creating problems again, which further stresses Tessa. Hardin tries to help her, but his approach becomes aggressive again. He wants to handle things forcefully, which only worsens the situation. The story reaches a point where the two love each other, but living together becomes difficult. Every time they get closer, some fight or the other pulls them apart. An important moment comes when Tessa decides she needs stability in her life. She needs to move forward in her job and build a career, and that doesn't seem possible with him. She speaks frankly to Hardin, but Hardin's behavior is the same again. Unclear, emotional, sometimes supportive, sometimes hostile. Tensions now reach a peak. Another major argument ensues between the two, and this time, things escalate to the point where it seems the relationship is about to end. But the story doesn't stop there, as a major twist remains, one that changes everything. The story now reaches its biggest twist and breaking point. There's already a lot of tension between Tessa and Hardin, but now the situation is about to spiral completely out of control.